Have you ever heard of a man named Walter Wintle? Walter D. Wintle. Don't worry about it. Most people haven't. He wrote a poem called Thinking in the 19th, late 19th, early 20th century. And I want to share it with you. It goes, think. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you lose, you're lost. For out in the world we'll find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You got to think high to rise. You first have to believe in yourself before you can win the prize. Life's battles aren't always won by the stronger or faster woman or man, but sooner or later, the person who wins is the person who thinks he or she can. Now, I'm sure when Mr. Winslow wrote that, he wasn't really aware of the impact that he could leave on generations to come with something as simple as a poem. And it's amazing that simple things can have such a big impact on our current lives and our lives going forward. In reference to that poem, I want to tell you about something real quick called learned helplessness. Let me give you an example of an experiment that was done to a dog. So a group of scientists put a dog in a cage, and over the course of a 5 days to a week, they put this dog in a cage, fairly large cage, and they put a chain on it. And just outside of the reach of the chain, they put a piece of meat. And right before the piece of meat, they put a piece of broken glass. So the dog would see the meat, and once he became hungry, he would throw himself at the meat, causing himself to hit his nose on the broken glass. So this happened the first day. The dog got discouraged. So after so many attempts and hitting his nose a couple of times, he didn't go after the meat. So they take the dog out of the cage and they repeat this on the second day. And on the second day, the dog lunges at the glass and hits his nose on the glass, and again repeats the cycle of no longer trying. So on the third day, they take the chain off of the dog and they remove the glass and they put the piece of meat same distance from the dog, and the dog would just lay there staring at the meat, not making a move. The next day, they did the exact same thing. The dog would not move. He would just lay there and stare at the meat. So they realized that if they didn't do something, that the dog was not going to eat and probably starve itself to death. So they brought the meat closer to the dog, and the dog still would not touch the meat. Now, I'm sure somewhere in that science experiment, I kind of deviated from how that actually happened, but the point of the matter is this: learned helplessness is the act of having one experience in your life that caused you to not reach an objective. It might have caused some type of pain or some type of hurt or some type of discouragement. And from that one instant, you shaped a ideal that there was something that you couldn't do because of one experience. And that's something that we're all dealing with on a regular basis right now, or all of us may have actually experienced that at one point in our lives. And once you've identified something like that, that has become a part of your actual overall program, once you've identified and you become aware of it, you can shift your awareness and you can shift your paradigm. So you can shift that operating program that's going on. And you can realize that one experience does not shape the rest of your life. So I just want you to take some time and think about that and ask yourself, is there anything that I've experienced in my life that, I constantly go back to that last experience? It can be something simple, in my culture. We love to eat fish. We love fried fish, but I know people to this very day in their 30s and 40s and 50s that will not touch fish at all, because as a child, they had an experience where they tried to eat fish and they almost choked on a bone. Although that was many, 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 many years ago, what they learned from that is that just trying to eat fish would hurt them. So to this very day, they don't eat it. Take some time and look at your life and ask yourself, does learned helplessness play a role in your life? Hey, like the video, subscribe. If you're seeing this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're seeing it on TikTok, follow our YouTube page. It's DeCoursey Dumas. And check out our podcast, the Why Is That Podcast, on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. Talk to you soon.